right, so now we are recording. So I'm going to present my entire screen. And we are going to take a look at a previous student's essay is what I'm going to use for the example. I'm also borrowing Cameron's class page in order to share with you the how to turn things in. So ideally, when you turn in your paper after it's been revised, you should have a Dropbox that looks very similar to what Cameron's got going on here. So you should have 4 things attached to it at least. Okay. He has the checklist that I gave you guys. He has his essay attached here. He has 2 grammar reports. So one grammar report is going to be the first report that he ever ran. And the second one is going to be the one that he ran after he fixed everything. All right. So I'm going to show you how to go about fixing things. So here I've got a student's essay. And their whole essay here, it has already been previously turned in, but they didn't do their grammar report yet. So that's what we're going to do first. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that everybody has the add-on ProWriting Aid Grammar Checker and Writing Coach. So you may have an add-on that was given to you by the school, or you may have no add-ons at all, okay? But we are going to manually add ProWriting Aid Grammar Checker and Writing Coach. To do that, we're going to click on this button that says Get Add-ons. All right. So when we go to Get Add-ons, it takes us to the Google Workspace Marketplace. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the search bar there to look for our ProWriting Aid. So if we type in Pro and Writing, spell it correctly. My fingers are not on the right place. There we go. And hit enter. Then we get the result that looks like this. So mine says it's currently installed. I'm going to uninstall it so I can show you what it looks like to install it. So for you, if it's not installed yet, it will look like this. We simply click on it, and then we're going to click on the big blue bar that says install. And then we're going to be given a series of other pop-ups. So we need to be ready to hit continue and accept and select our correct account. So we're going to hit continue here. On the next pop-up that comes up, it's going to ask me to select my Google Drive account. So I need to make sure I'm selecting the one that is for my school account. And now I have to give it permission to access my documents. So when that's all done, it will install it, and it will give me a window that looks like this. So now all I have to do is close those, and ProWriting Aid will be installed on my add-ons. Okay. When you click on add-ons, if you don't see anything in there and it's gray, you might need to give it a moment to load. So what we're going to do when we go to ProWriting Aid, I know it sounds like you should go to Summary Report, but we're not. We're going to go to Improved Document, because under Improved Document is where we can get the printable reports, okay? The other one doesn't allow us to print. I'm going to click maybe later on mine. All right. So here you can see like this little timer thing. The number changed there fairly quickly. What that's doing is it's going through and finding the grammar issues, some style issues, and spelling issues. So we don't really want to mess with this right now. This is what we're going to use when we go in to actually improve the document. The first thing we want to do is we want to go to this button that says Summary and has a clipboard on it. So we're going to click on that. And then it's going to give us a report that has an overall grammar score, a style score, and a spelling score. So you can see this person got a 42% for their grammar, an 86 for style, and an 86 for spelling. So we want to get this grammar report as close to 100 as we can. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to first save this by clicking on print. It's then going to give you like a preview of your document. All right. And then we're going to say save. If your preview doesn't look like mine, if it gets a big black triangle with an exclamation point on it, don't panic. Instead of saving that, what you're going to do is hit cancel, and then you're going to hit print again, because typically what happens is it doesn't fully load and then it gives you that message. Okay. So the second time around, it should give you the preview. So when we save our preview, it's going to automatically pop up as an untitled document. You need to click on grammar 1. Or not click on. You need to click on the name of it and change it to grammar 1. I have saved this grammar report here for another student, so I don't want to like click on that or name something else the same thing because it will overwrite it. And I'm saving that for Tariana because her computer is having brain farts and not saving things. All right. So we're going to save this. All right. And then after we save that, we need to then make sure that we add it to the Dropbox and we don't forget about it. So step 1, the next step is to go over to the Dropbox for your assignment. And then we're going to click on the add or create button underneath where your essay is listed. Okay. When we click on add or create, we then have a bunch of different options. We're going to select file because we're going to be trying to upload the file from the computer. So now it gives me access to my drive if I wanted, but I'm going to make sure it says upload here. And then I'm going to select browse. When I go to browse, it should show me the last thing that I saved or downloaded. If it doesn't, because maybe the last time you were on there, maybe it was on desktop and you don't see what you need, or it's on pictures and you don't see what you need, go over here to the little file directory on the left-hand side of the screen and select downloads, because that's where it should have saved for you. All right. So there you're going to find the document you want. So for example, this one here, we saved as untitled document last time, even though we should have saved this something else. And then it's going to, after you hit open, it'll automatically add it to your Dropbox. So now you see there are the 4 things that Cameron had, and now there's a new 5th item there. All right. If I accidentally upload the wrong thing, I can just click on this X and remove it, which is what I'm going to do, because this is Cameron's actual assignment and I don't want to edit his stuff. All right. Because he did well on this and I don't want to mess up his work. All right. So that is how we're going to save that. So any questions about that before we go in and start editing and revising to improve the essay? All right. If you do have a question, make sure that if you're going to type the question out, that you click the little hand raise button so I know to wait for you while you're typing. All right, I don't see anybody's hand up, so I'm going to take that as it's okay to keep going forward. All right, so our next step, we're going to close this little print window here. We are going to go over to this real-time thing here, and we're going to see that we have 6 issues that relate to the grammar and 1 that relates to spelling. So we need to go in and start fixing those. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down in our document, and we're going to look for things that are underlined in blue or red for right now. So here it says that there's a missing comma after a prepositional phrase. So I didn't click on anything. Notice I didn't click on it. I just hovered over it with my cursor. If I click on it, what it does is it puts the cursor right in the middle of the word and it doesn't do anything. Okay. So I just want to hover over it and then read what it suggests. So in this case, I have a prepositional phrase because I have the word from here. All right. So remember the fanboys thing that you probably learned in middle school. The from, for, and, or, nor, but, your, I'm trying to remember. Yeah. So all of those words are prepositions. When we start a sentence with a preposition, typically we're starting it with a prepositional phrase. So there's a group of words or a phrase that we could lop off and still have a full sentence. So in this case, it is this phrase here, from my experience. If I took this completely out, they would still have a sentence. The sentence is, I believe high school is a big memory book of your high school career. All right. So it's still standalone as a sentence. So what we need to do is make sure we show how these two things are connected by gluing them together with a little dab of sentence glue we call a comma. All right. So we're going to go ahead and put that missing comma in there. So this student really struggles with missing commas. You'll notice that. Almost all of their issues are missing commas. Here's the one thing I found, and remember, this is a free tool, so sometimes things don't always work great, is that when we change this possible confused word, it wants us to change it to it apostrophe s, which is correct. However, then it, for some reason, says it thinks it's a confused again. So what I suggested is anytime that you have the word it that should be apostrophe s is because it is actually gluing together the word it and is. So just go ahead and write out it is instead of it's. All right. And that gets rid of that whole grammar error right there. Okay. As the student continues down here, you'll see there's some other issues here. This one, they actually forgot a word. There should be the word school there. And then it will automatically pick up the fact that there should be a comma after school. So more commas all missing in here. All right. And then there's a spelling error. So here's their sentence. It says, lastly, just make high school the best experience or memories of your life because at the EGNET 4 years of high school and remember the group of friends you started high school with. All right. So what do you think they meant by ENGET? I personally think it was 2 words. What do you think they meant?
Because at the end?
Yeah, at the end of 4 years. So we can just go in and change that to the end of 4 years of high school. All right. Now that sentence probably does need a little bit of help there because it looks like they missed something else in here. But now all of those changes are in there and they're ready to go. So in order to actually apply them to the paper, you have to click this teal button at the bottom that says apply changes and close. If you don't do that, it doesn't actually do any of the changes. Okay. So there's one more thing I'm going to show you how to do. And that is we're going to have it check just the essay. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to come over here and highlight the header of your essay where you have your name, the class period, the date. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take this out of the essay for a moment. We're not going to take it out altogether. We're just going to take it off so that we can run our final report. Because if we don't, what's going to happen is that free program, because it's free, is going to not filter out that is a heading. Okay, so it thinks those are incomplete sentences. So we don't want it to grammar check those because if we do, it's going to knock us down by a good like 10 to 20%. Okay, so what I did is I hit Control X. All right, so I highlighted that and I hit that Control X to cut it out of the essay. So what it does is it takes that information and puts it on like a pretend clipboard somewhere else so that I can paste it back in later. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up to add-ons. I'm going to go to my ProWriting Aid Grammar Checker and Writing Coach, and I'm going to select Improve Document one more time. And this time I should only have, I think, 2 errors popping up because it was telling us that we had some style issues before, remember? Might only be 1. But this time when we click on our summary, we should have an improved score. So now you see their improved grammar score is at 100%. So that is definitely within our target of 85 to 100, right? So we can then save this by clicking on print one more time, waiting for it to finish loading, and then clicking on save. And then we would save this as grammar 2 or untitled document 2. And then same thing we did before with when we were done, we were going to go back over to our Dropbox, select add or create, select file, browse the computer, make sure that we're on downloads, select grammar report 2, open that baby up, add that on there. And then we have to remember to go back to our essay, close that out, and paste by either right-clicking or hitting Control+V to put in our header, okay? And then everything is ready for you to just go ahead and hit that resubmit button so that you can return that in and get it regraded, okay? So does anybody have any questions or you need help with a different assignment maybe? I don't know.